You have your goal in mind, but that's all you have. Creating, working towards, and reaching goals isn't easy, but the journey's different for everyone. This is part 4 in a 5-part series of how to build yourself up. In part 1, I shared 5 ways to develop positive thinking. In part 2, we talked about affirmations and self-talk. In part 3, we discussed self-worth. Today, we'll define how to reach any goal. And I'm just going to break it down super simple because there's so many programs out there on goal setting, and you just need to find that one thing that strikes for you. So today I'm going to talk about the 3 W's that are part of every goal that you need to define. If this is your first time listening to Coffee with Colleen, welcome. My name is Colleen Hammond. I'm a personal brand strategist, and I teach my clients to start everything in their heart. I'll be talking a lot more about that in upcoming episodes. I'm a former on-camera meteorologist for the Weather Channel, a network news anchor, Miss Michigan, and I've been helping people look and feel like $1 million for over 3 decades. And part of that is helping my clients grow in self-esteem and confidence. You can't help others until you heal yourself. Now, I've spoken about goal setting before, so in the show notes are going to be links to a couple of my YouTube videos, Motivation, How to Make Your Dreams and Goals Come True, and 9 Tips to Help You Stay Organized and Productive. That's 9 tips to help you stay organized and productive. And I'm linking to the YouTube video because sometimes it's nice to have a face to go along with the name. And I have earlier podcast episodes that I spoke about goal setting or things around goal setting. For example, episode 20, How to Get What You Want. That was an interview I did with Dagmar Bryant. Episode 31, How to Break and Build Productive Habits, which is important if you're getting to a new goal. And episode 32, How to Think Small so you can go big. And again, all of those links are in the show notes. But there are 3 parts of achieving every goal. They're always the same, no matter what goal setting system that you use. So defining these 3 W's of your goal will allow you to work toward the goal without losing sight of the big picture. So number 1, the first W is what? What do you want? What's your goal? So, for example, when you get in a car, you know your goal. You know exactly where you're going. You can pull up your Maps app and type in your destination, and you will be given a turn-by-turn process of how exactly to get to your destination. It's the same thing with a goal. You have to start with what? What is it that you want? Where is it that you want to go with your life? And you need to be specific. You can't just say, I want to be healthy. You need to break it down. I want to run a half marathon. I want to eat more veggies. Or I want to write a novel. Whatever your goal is, it needs to be specific. So explicitly naming your goal and writing it out then allows you to mentally focus in on what you are wanting to achieve. Clearly defined goals are easier to work towards. So write out your target. That also has the added benefit of making it real as opposed to some idea floating in your mind like, I want to be healthy instead of I want to run a half marathon. Okay, so that's the number 1 W, your what. Number 2 is when. When do you want to achieve this goal? What's your time frame? So again, going back to the travel example, if you have a doctor's appointment at 10 a.m., you know when you need to be there. So you know when to leave. Well, we're leaving now, right? We're starting the goal setting now. And when do you want to lose 100 pounds? This month? It has to be practical as to your when. When do you want to run a marathon or a half marathon? You need to train for that. So if the marathon is coming up next week, you maybe wanted to start that goal a little bit earlier. So it has to be realistic. And then you can break it down into that time frame. So once you have that overall time frame, then you can break it down into milestones that you will need to hit along the way, and then put time limits on those. That will allow you to have benchmarks so you can measure your progress. And keeping that measurement in increments also helps you keep your spirits up when you're kind of in the mucky middle. You can look back and say, I'm halfway there, or I'm 30% of the way there. I've already accomplished 30%. I'm not going to quit and have to start over again. So instead of looking at it as I have 70% of the way to go, you want to say, I've already accomplished this much. I don't want to quit and have to start over. So reward yourself. But again, that's a little deeper into goal setting. Right now, we're just breaking down those 3 W's. And then finally, why is this your goal? Why do you want to do this? So back to the travel example. Why are you leaving the house? To go to the doctor, to get my annual blood work done so I can get my prescriptions filled for the year. So you need to know your why, because your why is everything. And I've put links in the show notes. Everybody knows. And if you don't, you need to if you know, you want to refresh it. If you don't know Simon Sinek, he will define how to find your why. And I've also put a link to his TED Talk, Start with Why. And all of those links are also in the show notes. Your reason why should be personal, not somebody else's goal for why they want to run a marathon, or not something that's going to easily sway you from this. So the other thing too is it needs to be an internal reason. If you're going to run a half marathon just for the glory, so somebody else will see you do it, you want to dig a little bit deeper than that. Why do you need that outside affirmation? You don't need outside affirmation. And also that will wane. What happens if you're doing it for a specific person and then 2 months down the road, that person isn't in your life anymore? Does that mean you're going to give up on your goal? It has to be internally motivated. And again, digging deep and watching those Simon Sinek videos will help you too. So running a half marathon, for example, isn't easy. Running a full marathon isn't easy. So in the middle of every training session, it's just you and your legs and your lungs. So having a strong why also comes in handy when you lack external support. So having a reliable support system of family and friends is going to make achieving any goal easier, but sometimes you're not going to have the backing of family and friends. Or sometimes you're out there and you're working out, or maybe you're working on your novel, or maybe you're about to make yourself something to eat and you're tired and you don't feel like making something healthy. If no one's around, if that external person or that external motivation isn't there, you have to rely on a deeper internal motivation. So you need to know your personal why. So now you have your 3 W's: what you want, when you want to have it by, and why you want it. Again, your why is going to be your most important thing as far as keeping you going toward that goal. So write each one of those down and revisit it daily. What are my W's? What do I want? When do I want it by? And why do I want it? And that reminds you why you started, why you're continuing, and what awaits you at the end of your journey. Setting and achieving goals isn't for the weak of heart, but if your heart's in it, the process is less daunting. So what's your goal? In the final part of the series on how to build yourself up, I will share 5 creative ways to calm your mind. I'll see you then.